Konnichiwa, KemushiFanのLorettaです. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am on a special trip to go to Matsusaka along with NHK. We're going out there filming for the next few days, and I'm getting ready to go on the train, but I'm so excited. We're going to be seeing a lot of really cool spots behind the scenes, so let's go ahead and get going. So today we are headed out to Matsusaka, an area that's famous for its legendary Matsusaka ushi, which is a type of Japanese Wagyu steak. The thing about this area is that even though it's pretty much kind of the reason that steak popularized across Japan, a lot of people have tried it before but don't know anything about this place. So just a heads up, if you are sensitive about steak or eating meat, you might want to go ahead and skip this video. But in the meantime, we are out here today with NHK to film a TV show for Japan. And at the same time, I'm taking you guys behind the scenes. They are really hoping to see if you guys find anything interesting or if there's something you wanted to know more about the area. Go ahead and leave a comment below because they would really like to see that. So let's get going. Here's how to get there from Tokyo. First, I'm taking the bullet train to Nagoya, and then switching to an express train on the Kintetsu line. That'll take you all the way to Matsusaka. See? Pretty easy, huh? Hello everyone! I am here in Matsusaka, Japan, which is an amazing place that is known for its beef. And I just got here and I'm here in the hotel room and we are about to shoot some amazing, delicious, fun times for the next few days. So I'm going to take you guys along with me. Let's go! Good morning everyone, we are at our first location here in Matsusaka. Let's go inside and check it out. Our first stop is at this famous local butcher because they want to see if I can tell the difference between more Western style steak versus the Japanese more marbled and fatty type of steak. Let's see if you can tell what I'm talking about. Hey guys, today we are in Matsusaka and we have come to a butcher shop that is making some really delicious things. Oh my gosh, I didn't even see this huge beef sitting right here. But we're actually here. Matsusaka is famous for its beef and I got a chance to try the different types that they have. Usually what we have in the States is called akami. It's a very red style of steak. This one down here is a little bit closer to what I'm used to seeing back in the States. But what we have here is more of a marbled beef that's really delicious. But I actually had a chance to taste it all and sort of like taste the differences between the more fatty beef and the type that we have back in the States. And I have to say, I actually really like the Matsusaka beef that they gave. It was so delicious. And I had a chance to taste like just the actual fat that they have on the beef. And usually like in the States we cut the fat off and just eat the red part, but really like the fat itself was so good. Like I would eat that with a beer and just sit back and watch a movie. Like that was perfectly delicious. So good. So the reason the steak here is so different looking and marbled, which makes it really tender, it has to do with how the cows are actually raised. And that's where it starts to get interesting. So we are now on our way to a cow ranch to meet the owner and a local expert. So right now we are here on the cow ranch. I don't know if you call it a ranch. It's basically the stables where they're kept, which are really like wide and huge, and there's lots of space for the cows to hang out. And some of you guys are probably going to say something in the comments, but the reason that we're seeing not only the steak, but the reason we're also seeing the cows here is to really appreciate the way that they're brought up and the fact that they're really in a nice condition and they're just like well taken care of. The farmer here who keeps the cows, he's like so nice with them. He like takes them for walks and does all these crazy things. So we're gonna go check that out. Yep, this is Harumi-chan. And we are taking her for a walk. But this is no ordinary walk. This is a walk with a jumping cow. And we just met her and I gave her a massage after glazing her back with shochu and rubbing her down with a straw massagey thing. And that's not the only thing we did. In addition to daily massages and walks, the owner likes to make sure that his cows are all kept on a special diet, which includes a bottle of beer, apparently. I mean, I've never seen anything like this before, but according to the owner, in all of the 70 years he's done this, giving the cows a beer helps them build up an appetite, and then everything else is his own special blend of oats, corn, and grains. For the owner, one of the most important days is when the cows are old enough to be entered into a competition and eventually auctioned off. But until then, he talked about how taking meticulous care of them every day and to raise them really gave him a sense of pride. Alright guys, I want to show you a little bit of history behind everything that we're seeing here. When I first started studying Japanese in the States, I would often hear things that like, people eat Japanese food, there's traditional Japanese food, but there's kind of like more westernized food that's coming into Japan, and especially beef being one of those things, but that it wasn't really eaten before now. But now, it actually turns out that there's a reason that beef was able to sort of popularize throughout Japan in the last 100 years or so. And this place behind me is going to tell us why. We're in a new place now. Let's see where we are. This sign here says it's the prized Matsusaka beef that they share with the world. And this here are some of the wooden pieces that they would use when they were keeping the cows. And this is a basket that you put over their face. These are all handmade. This one's made out of wood. And it's used to cut the straw that we saw over there. Do you guys have any idea what this might be when you look at it? This here, called waraji, is the shoes that they would put on the Matsusaka cows. And the reason they would do this is because they had to actually walk the cows all the way from here in Miyagi all the way to Tokyo to see if they could sell. And it was a success. That's how the Matsusaka beef was made popular in Japan. These shoes right here, these tiny little things, handmade, and really intricate designs. But for me, we were looking through them and I kept thinking like, these would make really good souvenirs. Like throw a little Hello Kitty on there, make it into a strap keychain, and boom, instant omiyage. What do you guys think? If you could make any of these into a souvenir, what would you think would make a good fit? Because this one's light and it would fit perfectly into a suitcase, right? One thing I haven't really mentioned recently is that I actually really like to do crafty things. I used to like knit all the time, and the first times that I came to Japan, actually, it's because I knit all these things and sold them and came to Japan. So we've been doing a lot of food items, so one more other thing we want to try is more of a crafty, you know, something a little bit more crafty, but still Matsusaka style. So here we have come to the center, so I can try out my hands at something crafty. Everything in the store is made out of Matsusaka Moment, a famous local textile that's known for its deep indigo color, which is also called Japan Blue. Kimono and other clothing are made out of these striped indigo patterns and considered to be very fashionable. So today I've come here to learn how to make some of my own. This is Tanaka-san, who actually showed me how to make my own things out of the same material. Tanaka-san is the best. She's the best. We'll help you out with anything. Hi. Woohoo! Switch your feet. Put it back through. You gotta do this well, not like this. So beautiful. And this lovely coaster that you see here is something I made myself. Usually you can only start with this level here, it's the coaster. But she was nice enough to actually let me make my own stole, kind of like a nice, really pretty scarf with the same kind of blue design. And I love it so much. And then you can see kind of like here on the edges, some parts I didn't do so well. I think we got it though. For our last stop we're going to dinner, but I've never had it like this before. Okay guys, can you guess what this is? You may recognize this case here, but what's inside is what's special. So for dinner we are having kaiten ushi, which is basically like kaiten sushi, but instead of sushi, we're having steak. Or are we? Oh, here it is guys. Okay, get ready. Push the button, timing is everything. And 3, 2, 1, whoosh! Da, 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 da. See you guys probably have no idea what it is that I just chose. I'm not going to tell you this is a secret, because what this actually is the cheapest way, and actually I think the most delicious way to enjoy Matsusaka ushi, or Matsusaka beef. This is gyutoro. Can you guess what it is? That plate that I got was only, I think it was about 300 yen or so. It's written at the bottom of the plate. But it's super cheap and really, really good. We just tried it and it was so good. What I think is really fun to do is ask the store person, just every time you pick something, just, what is that? You know, pick something that looks good and give it a try. Whoa. And the fire starts to burn, guys. That's how we make Matsusaka specialty, delicious beef. Here we go. Itadakimasu. So good. You guys have no idea what you're missing. If you want to find out, you gotta check it out. Matsusaka. Let's go. So, it's time for me to go. If you live in central Japan, the TV show we filmed for NHK will be airing there soon, but if you're not, you can still participate by leaving a comment below. Let us know what you thought was interesting, whether it's steak, blue fabric, or feeding cows with beer. The way they do things here is very unique to Matsusaka, so let us know what you thought, and your comment may be featured in the show. では、今日はご視聴ありがとうございました. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!